Hello, class. Do you know how many homeless people are in your area? Do you ever stop and help them? Or wonder what their story is and how they came to be? Well, one of my duties as a volunteer at the Grace Connection was to count up the number of homeless people we had in our area that we helped. That number this year was 87. And the volunteers at the Grace Connection, we know the story of each and every one of them because we always go above and beyond to help the needy in our community. As an organization founded by local churches, we are surprisingly open minded to the people who find us seeking help. I have been I have been volunteering at the Grace Connection once a week for about a year now, and I can honestly say it is the highlight of my week each and every week. The integrity, care, and time Judy and her team of little old church ladies give to the neediest in our community is what keeps our town going. They have been doing miracle work for over a decade now, and I think their story needs to be told. I'm going to tell you about some of the things they do and my experiences working there as a volunteer. The first time I walked into the Grace Connection, it was the dead of winter, and I was taking over some coats for their coat drive. There was only 3 volunteers that day, and they were all busy assisting someone. There was a line of people filling the hallway. The fax and the copier were both going off, and the phone rang non-stop. I knew immediately that they needed more volunteers, so I stayed and helped. That's what you do in that situation. At the time, I had no idea what I was getting into. It was just looking for something to fill my resume. But the first interview that I sat in, I was just blown away by the living conditions of some of these people. The housing costs in my area have been jacked up for a while now because of the inflation caused by the gas industry. And it was really hitting the poorest, or the poorest low income families the hardest. But what was even more surprising is the amount of help that we can give people. Because the Grace Connection is a private nonprofit organization, they are able to create their own rules for approving assistance. Not only do we help people with their necessities like providing food, water, shelter, and clothing, but we can also help them with their bills to get gas for their vehicles and even help them with their first month security deposits for the homeless who are looking for a new apartment. We don't just take care of the homeless. We also take preventative measures to keep people in their homes. Each applicant is thoroughly interviewed and background checked before their needs are assessed. Then, the Grace Connection will apply up to $200 to their most pressing bill and financial obligation. At first, I was skeptical too of the amount of help we were giving people. And these handouts, they were just so generous. I thought that maybe we could be taken advantage of too easily. But one day, a coworker of mine came in. I had always known that she had financial trouble, but I just had no idea how bad it was. Poor Connie was a disabled, elderly woman who worked part-time with me at a gas station. And, well, part-time was all her body could handle. She made minimum wage, she had to pay her rent, and she was trying to support a family of 5 with her meager wages. Because her daughter, who was a single mother, had just been laid off and had moved in with her and her 3 kids. She was at the end of her line, and she came to the right place. We turned her life around because that's what Grace Connection does. We paid $200 towards her rent. We helped her daughter find a job, and we sent them off with a big bag of groceries. And that is why I volunteer every week. It's just amazing. I was able to help a person who has become a dear friend to me a colleague who, at that time in her life, she really needed that help. And sometimes our best is just not enough. But we don't judge. The justice, the satisfaction, and the happiness that I feel from being able to help her is beyond anything that I can achieve academically or at work. And I hope my story will motivate you to volunteer at an organization similar to the Grace Connection in your area and hopefully change the world for someone you know.